Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Davis. I very much appreciation, a very big appreciation to everyone that has been subscribing, signing in, liking and commenting. The channel continues to grow and we managed to hit the 1000 subscriber mark I think last week during the international break. Much appreciation to everyone, even you that has tuned in today. A big thanks to you. So continue to grow the channel. Let's continue to like and subscribe and share it with our friends. And I hope it's making an impact in each and everyone's FPL journey. Today we'll be basically going through how my team is shaping up for Game Week 12. But before all that, obviously, we'll first go through our review of Game Week 11. Then we shall also get to talk about a few people that are flagged, the injuries, and going forward before obviously the press conferences tomorrow, where we'll get conclusive information about what exactly to expect from our different assets that are currently flagged. And then I think we can also, one of the questions I did also receive was about the Manchester United assets. So that is something that we shall also talk about. So quickly to review our game week 11, it was a week of 75 points. We did get a 75 points. Uh, it was a green arrow. It was a green arrow. And then we moved from over 298k to 115k. So it was not a bad game week. It could have been better, obviously. We did have Fabianski in goal, who did provide a clean sheet. One of those few games when we managed to rest Raya, but it was a good move. In our defense, we had two returns from Aid Nuri, who managed to only get a clean sheet and no, he didn't get anything going forward. We expected a bit more from him. Robinson also managed to keep a clean sheet as well. Lewis had his wiped out, as has been the trend of recent. And it also did get, I think, he came in late and got a yellow card, so he was on 0 points. Konsa wasn't in my starting 11 because I had started with McNeil, who didn't play as he was injured. That's one of the other players which I'll talk about later on. So he did come off the bench for a 1 pointer. Then obviously Mbemo did assist in a game week where Wisa really was performed very good. Son was a shock, bad performance by Spurs against Ipswich. They were beaten and he didn't return anything. He was my vice captain. Palmer as well was playing Arsenal, no returns, as has been the case against the big performers, especially Liverpool and Arsenal. My captain did play very well. Salah did score and assists with 28 points, came in handy. Cunha, who was one of the other people we had brought in that week, also did score and assist with 12 points, which came in handy. And then lastly, Raul did assist for one of the Fulham goals for, I think their first goal, he did assist. So yeah, that led to the 75 points that I did get in my game week 11, which wasn't a bad performance, but we hope to do better. So we go forward to the next. So yes, we first provide a quick reminder on our watch list for Game Week 12. As we're heading into Game Week 12, there are key defenders, midfielders, and forwards that we need to look forward to. Those especially that are wild carding. We did provide a wild card draft last week, I think. We did provide a number of different wild card drafts that some of you could attempt or have a look at, that probably have Salah, that have Salah and Haaland, that have Haaland only, that have Salah only, and a number of other assets. So that is something that you could check out as well on our channel. But going through our watch list as we get closer to game week 12, I did pick out just like a few key players or assets in every position. From our defense, starting with our defense, we have Gabriel. We did talk about the Arsenal fixtures getting better. They're getting better, and we are going to look at that as we talk about, for example, Saka, who's flagged. But I think with everyone back, yes, I know they got a few knocks and injuries in their international break, for example, like Trossard. But I believe the Arsenal team is really back together and back fit. The defense should have that cover that it always needed, with both Partey and Rice playing in the right positions again. So it's high time that I think the clean sheets for Raya and the Arsenal defense should begin to come through. So I believe Gabriel is a good shout. Konate provides a budget uh, take into the Liverpool clean sheets, not obviously a bit cheaper than Van Dijk and way cheaper than Trent. So I believe Konate is one of those people that I think most people that want to have that cover for the Liverpool clean sheets can be able to bring in. Dini has, I think, 3 assists or 4 assists. Is one of those defenders that I think has assisted the most. If not, he is the one who has assisted the most actually this season so far. So he does stand out, and the Aston Villa fixtures are not that bad really. He has that position a bit nailed. Yes, he does get off sometimes as it comes to the 70-point mark because of the signing they did get from Chelsea that was playing in Dortmund. But I do believe the position is his, and at least he always goes past the 60-point mark. So Digne as well looks good. Other defender shouts outs could be, for example, Van Hecke. We did talk about Dunk in the watch list last week, and that is dependent on really if he can be able to be fit for game week 12. But in case he isn't, someone like Van Hecke is good as well to provide that Brighton cover, because we did talk about the good fixtures that Brighton has going forward. Then I think also Fulham's defense, you can also think about someone like Robinson or someone like Anderson in defense. Those are some of the key defenders I think we can look at going forward. Then going to our midfield, we have people like Bruno Fernandes. I think if you've not yet brought him in, because he did have, I think, two price increments during the international break. If you've not yet brought him in, I think this is the right time to bring him before the Man United fixtures get bad, because as we noticed, the next two fixtures are really good enough for them, and then I think there's the turn after Arsenal onwards. So this is the right time really to be bring about, I think, Bruno. And Bruno is, I think, the only asset that we can believe is a bit nailed in the Manchester United team. One of the questions I did receive mainly was that, and I'm going to tackle it on the Manchester United assets later. Neto is also one of the key people that we did pick out last week because he has had his position nailed now, because Sancho seems like he has fallen out of favor. He started the season a bit in favor in that position, but Neto has come out. He's come with assists. He's come with goals. So I think he's looking very good and I think much better than Madueke actually, compared all things compared. I know Madueke did perform very well in the international break as well. He had some good performances. Then as well as Gordon, the Newcastle fixtures as well continue to look good. That's why actually Isak also appears in the forwards. The two are combining perfectly and are trying to bring Newcastle back, because most of us had most of these as were starting the season, but they fell off out of favor as the season started because they were not performing well. Other midfielders, I think the only other person I can mention is someone like Mitoma, and this all goes back to the Brighton fixtures looking very good. Then going to our forwards, we do have Jackson. The Chelsea fixtures are a no-brainer. That's why you have someone like Neto. So I believe someone like Epama is really obvious, but we shall talk about him as well because he's currently flagged. Then we also have Isak, who I've already talked about, and Joao Pedro, who came back and managed to score and assist against Manchester City with a good performance. I believe if he can be able to keep himself fit, it would be a very good shout out for most of us. Other forwards we can think about: Cunha, who I didn't include here because I already have him. Wissa as well, who I also didn't include here, are some other forwards that we need to also consider for those of us, especially that are wild carding. To talk about the few players that are flagged, we did picture, Palmer was pictured in training. We did see a couple of pictures of him in training. So much as he's currently still flagged at 75% chance of playing, I do believe he's going to be able to make it in time for the Game Week 12 fixture, which looks good because he has Leicester away. He has Aston Villa at home. Then you get to see there is a bit of Southampton in there. There is Spurs, which could be the harder fixture actually in the next like 8 or 9 fixtures. But we know Spurs and their defense and how they're always hot and cold every now and then. So we do see very good fixtures for Chelsea with Everton, Ipswich, Fulham. So we do believe, really, if they can be able to, these are some of the assets that need to be targeted. That's why you did see my watch list featuring the likes of Neto, likes of Jackson. So the Chelsea fixture is going to look good. The other player that we did see that was also flagged is Bukayo Saka. Now, I think there was Zinchenko was in some interviews with, I think, The Athletic, and he did release a book where he did mention something that we've always talked about and known here about Ateta with the way he plays around with managers, and he gets to to put players who are actually even injured onto the plane to fly for games, yet he knows clearly they're not going to be able to feature or they're not going to be able to play. But I believe we've not yet gotten any conclusive information. Like I mentioned, the press conferences are tomorrow. But I do believe Saka should be in contention to really start. He got off in the Chelsea game before it ended, and he did take the rest as he didn't go for the international break. But I do believe he should be able to start. And talking about Arsenal, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, their fixtures look good as well. I think their turn really is okay. They do have the likes of West Ham. They play Manchester United in there. They play Everton. They play Ipswich. So there are some good fixtures, and they have a good run of games until I think mid-Jan or early Jan, mid-Jan, I believe. So Arsenal's fixtures are some of those to be targeted as well. The other player that was flagged was Mbeumo. We did notice Cameroon had already qualified, unlike, for example, Semenyo. Semenyo is one of those others that are still flagged. He didn't play for Ghana as well. They did mention he had a bit of a knock-on injury, so we do wait for the updates tomorrow from Bournemouth. Mbeumo as well didn't play as well for Cameroon, but Cameroon had already qualified, unlike Ghana, which didn't make it through. So these are some of those that are not confirmed yet, but we've not gotten any updates from Semenyo or Mbeumo, but we wait for tomorrow for the press conferences. Then someone like Trent also didn't go for the international break. He has been training actually, so he should be available, but I do not think he's going to be risked. So for those that have him, if you can be able to sell him and at least be able to afford someone like a Salah, or if you didn't have a Haaland, or you don't have any of these assets we've talked about, I think it would be advisable because with Madrid coming forward, I think they play Madrid. They do play Real Madrid in midweek in the Champions League. So with Madrid coming up, I don't think he's going to be risked. So I don't think he's going to play. He's going to feature against Southampton. He may not be risked, but so because he has Madrid and then Man City after that. But the Liverpool fixtures, as we've mentioned, are not the best. They are not the best. There is a mixture of all the greens and everything. So that's something to watch out for going forward. Dwight McNeil, I did have him. I did sell him before his price dropped because I wanted to bring in, I think, Palmer. No, Bruno Fernandes. So that's something we shall look at as we get to my team. But he has also been pictured training. He's available. So for those that have him and can keep the patience, because he has some good fixtures, I think. Before he gets to play Liverpool and Arsenal, the fixtures are doable for Everton. They can perform against Everton as against Brentford. They are home. Maybe Manchester United is away, and then they play Wolves home as well. So McNeil is available. So that is some other update that you needed for those that have him. And then the other question I did get, I think last week mainly was on the Manchester United assets. For example, Dalot, who we see here, or even Mazraoui. I know most of the people had brought those two in. Dalot didn't complete the last. He got off in the 50-something mark, and he failed to get the clean sheet points for Manchester United's clean sheet point, and that should have hurt obviously the owners, but fingers crossed he gets to start again. But the trick about the Manchester United assets is that when the new manager in, we are yet to find out who is his favored players. Someone like Bruno, I think, is the only person we are so sure is nailed. But going forward, we do not know which striker he will prefer to go with. In defense, we do not, or we did get some good information that someone like Luke Shaw and Malaysia are fully back. So you wonder whether he's going to quickly put in Malasia back into the left back position or Luke Shaw, and that puts some doubt into the likes of Mazraoui and Dalot. I know they can be able to play on both wings. They can either play as right back or left back, but with Shaw and Malasia back, you do wonder whether one of them may lose out on their positions. So for those that are on wildcard that are trying to bring in Dalot or Mazraoui, I believe it's better to first wait it out and we'll be able to study the situation and see whether these are going to be the favorites for the new manager. So I think for any Manchester United asset except Bruno Fernandes, it is really a wait and see. Going directly to my team, as I did mention last week, Bruno Fernandes is the new inclusion. He did come in for McNeil because I targeted these two fixtures. I believe he was on form. He did also play very well for Portugal, especially in their first match. I think he scored a goal. And this is how my team will be lining up unless anything changes. My goalkeeper is still a debate between Fabianski and Raya, but as I always, I'll communicate. I'll communicate before the deadline on who exactly I've gone with. But for now, I'll be having Fabianski in my goal. My defense will be having Aid Nori, Robinson, and Konta. My midfield will be having Fernandez, Mbuemo, Son, Palmer, and Salah. My captaincy still lies on Salah, and I think will really remain on Salah for the rest of the week. And my striking has Raul Jimenez and Cunha, with my bench having currently Raya in goal. Lewis is my first substitute, and then Greaves, who's yet to come back, and lastly Chiwome. This is how my team will be lining up. Feel free to send any comments, any questions. Feel free to let me know in case I'm letting you down here and there. Just feel free. This is an open channel where you can always comment and let me know anything that you feel, and I'll make sure to respond to you. Otherwise, FPL responsibly, and thank you so much for the support to the channel.